Okay.
Hello.
Hi, this is Brian and Christina from Your HealthySteps.
Hello.
And today we are talking all about the ITBand.
Yeah,
and
exciting
Brian,
latest news.
he is so excited to
I
share
am.
all this new information about the ITBand,
Yeah.
how it affects you when you're running. And so that's what we're going to talk about. But first, it's really important for you to know that we are not doctors. We are not prescribing or diagnosing or treating. We are massage therapists with 14 years of experience.
14 years.
And we are sharing the information we've learned from our years of experience. We've worked with professional athletes to collegiate athletes to kids to moms and dads.
Active moms and dads. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So wide variety of clients, a lot of
variety.
Yes, yes. Okay, so and before we jump in, make sure you grab our what is it called? Our special report.
Yeah, special report. Yes.
And so it's 4 things that no one told you about foam rolling.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we're going to give you some great tips that will help you improve your foam rolling techniques immediately. You're going to see a difference right away. Okay.
Yep, I believe it.
So, what's the ITBand?
Okay, well, it's actually called the iliotibial tract. So that's the professional name. We'll stick with ITBand. And if you think about it, it's just a large band of this elastic, and that elastic is really an important term. It's elastic connective tissue that runs down the side of your upper leg. So it's just a big band of this elastic connective tissue that pretty much covers or runs down the outside part of your upper leg.
Okay. In my head, I see one of those, those exercise bands.
That's a good example. Yes.
That's what I see.
And that elastic is going to be very important because it used to be just thought it was more taut, but it's not. It's something more than that. So it's very cool. Very cool.
Okay. So what is it? And we answered that.
Yeah, and why is it important? I think that's So it is important because it creates a lot of problems for people, and it does a lot of stuff, which we're going to cover here in just a minute. But I think a lot of it for self-care for us is that nobody likes to work on the ITBand. Nobody does. I don't even like working on it. It hurts. It really hurts a lot. And so people are like, either I just don't do it, or should I do it, right? And we hear that question a tremendous amount, a lot, and it's kind of frustrating. So that's what we want to clear up is what it is, what does it do, and why is it important? Right. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Where is our ITBand?
Okay. Well, excellent. Let's go ahead and do that. So this ITBand, so it's starting from a muscle called your tensor fasciolate, and that tensor does just that. It provides tension to the band, but it's right here. So there's this muscle, which isn't very very long, maybe 2 inches long, right off the front of the hip of your hip, the very front side of your hip, and then the muscle, the ITBand, or the ITBand, it actually comes out of this hip area, out of the muscle itself, comes down. It's like a big funnel, and then it actually comes out of the glute, just like this. Now, my biggest fear here when I talk about the location of a muscle is that people are either hearing, they get glossy-eyed, or they hear the Peanuts parents, right? But the reason why I'm doing this is not to test you on it or to increase your vast knowledge of the anatomy, but it's this idea of that everything is connected. So if we have that idea that everything in our body is connected to everything else in our body, then that's why we need to take care of our body, right? We can't just focus on one little thing. We got to focus on everything. So that's why we do it. And here, it's connected to the front of the hip, the ridge of your hip and your butt, and comes down the whole side of your leg, crosses the knee, and then attaches. It sort of merges into the connective tissue around the knee, and then into your lower leg on the big bone of the lower leg called the tibia. So it impacts all of that. So this ITBand has the ability to impact all of that.
Right. Okay. And then also, so what does it do?
So what does it do? Well, that's some of the new research that's out. But let's talk about what we know currently. What's the current thought of what this mechanism actually does? So it is it can rotate your hip. So it stabilizes. That's probably the primary thing that people talk about. It stabilizes your hip, and it stabilizes the knee. So it's really important in providing that stability. It also can pull the hip down. It can pull the hip inward. And when you raise your leg to your side, it's helping with that. So it helps with that leg outward, hip rotating inward, and then hip rotating downward. So that's all of that is incredibly important, not only just for the average athlete or average human, but I mean anybody who wants to be active or is an athlete. That's pretty important stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so just that is important. But here's the new research information. I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. I read this with the Harvard Gazete in their health and medicine section, and the title is called Understanding the ITBand. And so we'll leave the link to that. So I think it's a great read, and then the date that it was published. But what they're saying is that we as humans, the IT bands for humans actually can store 15 to 20% more energy, stored energy, than other primates that were tested. And I don't want to get into all of that, who was tested and all that stuff. What I want to talk about is, what does that mean, that stored energy? What does that mean? And so when we walk or when we run, as the leg swings backward, the IT band in this research was storing this energy so that when you swing the leg forward in your stride, it's that stored energy that's assisting, that's helping bring the leg forward, which means it is actually helping you conserve energy, which is one of the things that humans have the ability to do, which is to run long distances.
Right.
Whether that's in soccer or whatever, or a marathon or triathlons, that stored energy is helping us conserve energy. So
it is like an elastic band.
It's like a big elastic band.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
It's fantastic.
cool.
And it really is amazing, for me anyways.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
So anyways, if you get a chance, read that article.
So that means that if we want it to work efficiently, right, and
Absolutely.
use that stored energy, we need to keep it
As
healthy.
near normal or healthy as possible. And that really
Right.
fits our motto, right? That's our what we believe in is that, you know, any part of the body needs to work efficiently and fluidly and near normal and healthy. And so if this isn't healthy, or if it's not fluid in its movement, it's going to impact that ability to store that energy. It's going to put strain on the joints. It's not going to, or it's going to over rotate the hip or over pull the hip down or impact the knee. So again, this is our, that's what it means, is that keep it healthy, even though it's painful. You really need to do it, but you need to know how to do it right and correctly and safely.
Okay. Are there any other issues that you could experience with a tight IT band?
There are. So knowing when this thing is tight really is just this tightness in the knee, tightness in the outside of the hip, tightness down the outside of the leg, tightness when you try to stand or sitting for long periods of time and you go to stand up, it doesn't feel really good. That's part of it. There's common pain patterns typically caused by the muscle, the TFL, and that can be pain in the hip, pain in the outside of the knee, pain all the way down the leg. A lot of times when people try to walk quickly, they'll feel pain, or it's almost impossible to walk quickly. That's a really good indication. Yeah.
Okay. Anything about, you were telling me about a client who had a hip?
Oh,
that
yes.
was popping,
So some of the other more serious issues
Yeah.
are something called snapping hip syndrome. So this isn't the only cause of snapping hip syndrome, but it is one of them. And that basically it's just a snapping sound in the hip. You can actually sort of see it as it kind of snaps over. You feel it more if you're going upstairs, running or walking with load like groceries or a heavy backpack, that kind of stuff. It gradually gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, so it becomes a big problem.
Right.
And then there's also something called the IT-band syndrome, and that's pain and inflammation in the outside of the knee and the hip. It's just inflammation and pain, and again, it can just take you right out of your activities and sport that you like to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, can I bring up something that we were talking about before?
Absolutely,
is
absolutely.
How much area the IT band covers.
Oh my goodness,
and
yes.
all the muscles that it's either overlapping or on top of,
Yes.
or kind of blending in with.
Absolutely.
Do
Yeah, I mean, when
you
you're talking
wanna-
about the glute here, I mean, part of that gluteus maximus, or the butt muscle where the connective tissue comes out of it and is part of the IT band.
Yeah.
The ITBand itself actually sits on top of your outside quadricep, which is one massive muscle on the outside of your leg. So it actually can get adhered to that. Then you've got the knee. I mean, yes. I mean, it's a big area.
A large area.
And I wanted you to talk about something. Christina had mentioned something that when this was back in our old school days.
Yeah. So what I was telling Brian when we were talking about the ITBand was that I remember when we were in massage school, right? We were taking turns with our partners learning how to work on different muscles. So it was the day we were learning how to work on the ITBand. And so I worked on my partner's ITBand, and then it was my turn. And when she started working on me, I got angry because I was like, what are you doing? Like, I thought she was pinching me. I thought she was doing it wrong. And I was getting angry. And so it turns out she was doing a fine job. It was my ITBand was so tight that it really hurt. So, and I think that's common when we massage people, right? Is we start working on the ITBand, and it's very common to hear that, ow, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Or that can't be right. I mean, nothing should hurt that much, right? I mean, I hear it all the time. And unfortunately, it's just because it's way, 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 way too tight.
Okay. So typical sports?
Typical sports, where we think of runners, that's our big ITBand runners. But and that is true. That is true. But the other sport, I mean, pretty much any running sport or walking sport is going to be impacted. And that gymnasts, wrestlers, dancers. What was the other one? Swimming. People think, oh, swimming, really? Yes, absolutely. Swimmers can have problems with this. Dancers, people who like to go out hiking can have problems with this. Cyclists can have problems with it. So really, it doesn't discriminate in sport. It'll attack anybody. It'll go after anybody. So yes.
And then also, if you're sitting down a lot, if you're working on the computer, right? Because you're bending at two joints.
The hip and the knee.
So that it's going to be pulled.
It's going to be pulled, absolutely.
Okay, anything else you want to share about our ITBand?
Yeah, well, the solution here really is prevention, because that's our motto. I mean, again, why wait? I mean, it's why wait and deal with it? And these are not fun issues to deal with. So preventative, just get on it, take care of it now, and foam rolling is part of that. But you really need to know how to foam roll from basic to intermediate to advanced. You need to know how to do it without crying, bruising yourself and hurting yourself. I mean, that's not fun. I mean, it isn't fun, so why do it? So do it correctly. And then I always say, people say, well, what stretch is the best stretch? And I always, well, I like this stretch. And they go, well, that doesn't do anything for me. So I say, find the stretches that work for you. There's a lot of resources out there. Try them. Try the different stretches that are out there. Find the ones that work for you. And then be gentle with your stretching. Stretching is not an endurance sport. It's not a how much can I do, or how much pain, right? No pain, no gain.
Right.
That's not stretching. Stretching should be a feeling of good, nice, functional stretching. Right? It should feel good. It should feel good. Right. So that's what I recommend.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let us know down below if you've had issues with your ITBand before. If you're like us, you got on the foam roller, you got a massage, and your ITBand hurt, and you were like, yowzers, what's going on there? So if that's you, jot down below, let us know that you're dealing with IT issues, because that's going to help us know what you guys want to learn about or hear about. Okay? Because we want to help you be independent and have a very healthy, well-working body.
That's right. Get out and do the things you love to do.
Exactly.
And do it well. Absolutely. Or do it to the best of your ability, but do it healthy, right?
Yes. Like our Facebook, so you get more notifications when we go live. And you ready?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, let's go roll our ITBands.
Foam roll our ITBands, yep.
Okay.
Mine will probably hurt a little, unless the left one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.